Welcome to the Release Your Blocks podcast. I am your host, Victoria Bond. Join me as we chat about mindset, consciousness, and turning up your potency so you can get clear on your divine mission here on earth. I'm a spiritual empowerment coach. I use intuition, mediumship, and life coaching with my clients so they can create the life they truly desire. I believe we are here to be wealthy and healthy. If you desire more of this in your life, then this is the podcast for you. My mission is to share my knowledge of entity clearing, shifting limiting beliefs, and becoming more conscious within our bodies and minds so we can fulfill our life's purpose. I will be bringing you weekly podcasts with interviews, solos, and pre-recorded juicy lives from my socials. Thank you for being here. I hope you enjoy the podcast, and if you do, I would love you to please follow me here and find me at Holistic Energy Shifting on Facebook, where you can find a heap of free inspiration and information to shift the energy and grow abundance. Now let's get into today's episode. Hi everyone, how's it going? I am doing alive. First question, how did everybody sleep last night? It's a beautiful day here in Inglewood in New Zealand. We had a full moon though. And so everyone I've seen today, I've said, how did you sleep? So my kids actually slept quite well. Actually, my little girl woke up and she was yelling out to her friend. So she was calling out. I forgot about that. But usually she has a few tears or dreams and stuff. So note what the moon's doing. Because if it's pulling in the ocean and having, the tide and stuff and having such a big effect on that type of stuff, it definitely can affect us, especially when most of us, we're actually made of water, majority of our bodies. So the reason why I'm coming on today, now that I've got a little bit of spare time, is I have got the privilege of doing an interview tonight to one of my favourite mediums, Lauren Robinson. She has been my coach for a good 6 months, and I've learned a lot off her. So she is one of the people on my interview series, and she has got a book out and definitely one to watch. So I had a few really cool experiences lately, and I just wanted to have a little chat to you about synchronicities. So I've had a couple of spirit come through to me this week. Yep, I've got to say it. Mediumship happens to me all the time. And I'm not overly trying for it to happen, but I listen. So being brought up in a really busy household, Mum always had the radio going and all that type of stuff. I like silence when my kids aren't here. And even when they are here, I don't have music on very often unless I'm working. I don't have the TV on a lot. And what I find is in the silence, I can hear more because my mind isn't so busy. So a couple of times this week, it's happening to me more and more often now. Both of my great-grandmothers were very psychic, but it wasn't very talked about then. So it's kind of like hush, hush. But songs are a massive thing for me. So I'll have songs and it's either the lyrics in the song or the song that belongs to a person and the spirit is trying to get my attention to tell that person about the song because it means something to them. And you get these clues. It's like kind of like a treasure hunt or when you're a kid playing a game like with clues and stuff, and you have to figure out the story. Now, we all have these abilities. So I'm just going to hang up on my mum who's ringing me. I actually talked to her about this yesterday, so it was very interesting. I wanted to know more about my great-grandmothers. And I also wanted to know if my mum has these abilities because we all do, but some of them are stronger than others. So some of us smell, some of us hear, some of us see, some of us just get a lot of synchronicities, and it's our job to put it together. Okay, so in the last few years, I've been putting together the way I do it. At first, I thought I was going absolutely mental because not only was I finding white feathers everywhere, literally in every room. Like if I ask for a sign, I'll go to the gym and there'll be one in there. Yesterday morning, there was a feather in my hair when I woke up. Yeah, it probably came from the duvet, but there was still a feather in my hair. So I knew it was going to be a good day. This whole entire week has been full of spirit trying to get my attention. But now I'm becoming so attuned to it and understanding it, I know how to turn it on and off. And because I don't know the concept of time. Anyway, back to the synchronicities. So feathers is one for me. So is monarch butterflies. Each spirit kind of has its own kind of sign and symbol that they tell you about. And yes, we need to piece it together. They're not trying to confuse us, but it's quite hard for them. They can't just turn up and stand in front of you and go, hi, I'm just here to tell you blah, 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 because they're in a different frequency, like completely. So when you are constantly thinking about your gran who passed and you're thinking about them over and over and over again, and then next minute you're at your mum's and you open up a photo album, there's a picture of them, and then all of a sudden you can, that lady's wearing the same perfume my gran used to wear, and those beautiful roses, my gran loved her garden. It's her saying, hi, I'm right here. So we need to listen to these signs because they're constantly it's like tapping someone on the shoulder, and they're constantly giving them to us. They won't stop until we go, thank you, I do acknowledge you there. So how many times have you, if you've had a friend that's passed or a relative and you've gone, I'm just thinking about this person, that person. It's because they're with you. So when that happens, you just turn around and say, hello, I can feel you there. And then you can also, if you wanted to, you can shut your eyes and you could say, is there something that you want to say? And then put a full stop at the end of your sentence that you've said to them and listen. Not just listening with your ears, but listen. Imagine all your senses and feel your body and say, okay, body, join me, what can I hear? What can I see? What can I feel? What can I taste? And you might get an image of a tree. And it might be that you and your friend played in that tree. Whatever it is, it's kind of nearly like an imagination thing, but it's not imagination. Many of my friends have had little readings from me spontaneously, and they would be able to tell you that I say to them, am I lying to you? Am I telling the truth? Because for me, it's like a story in my head that I'm making up, but it's not, because I'm telling them facts about their loved ones that I couldn't have possibly known. Everyone, like I said, has a different way of doing it, so I can see. First of all, I feel emotional. So I go, oh my gosh, and I feel the connection that you had with your gran or your sibling or your friend, and I can feel it. I'm like, wow, okay. And I can tell them what their relationship's like because I feel it in my heart. And then I start getting physically like a tingling, like a light breeze on my face. And when I feel that, I'm like, okay, there's definitely some spirit here. And then all of a sudden in my head, not with my eyes, in my head, I can sense the energy next to the person or a meter away from the person or behind the person or around the person. And then I can tell how close that person was to the person or how close they're being now. And intuitively, I just know. So yeah, it's very, very interesting. But what I'm trying to say here is everybody has this ability. It's taken me years to try and figure out what the way I do it is. And now that I'm starting to believe it, it's happening more. So a very good friend of mine, Bridget Calloway, we were talking the other day and she was telling me how she does it. Naturally, it just happens for her a certain way. One of my sisters, she can hear. So she hears spirit. She hears voices. I went into her hallway and I thought, I just felt like a man just walked past me. Oh, well, carried on. And then she went into the hallway and then she comes in and she goes, I just heard a man talking in my hallway. Oh, okay, well, I think there's a man in your hallway because I felt something. We bypass this all off as coincidences, but the truth is there is no coincidences. How I really got propelled into this journey was a girl I went to school with passed and she wanted me to give a message to her mum. The synchronicities and signs went on for a whole entire year. It became so prominent that I wasn't just seeing the feathers. I would go into a room and the whole room in my third eye, like in my head, was full of feathers. And I rang up a friend and I said, what do I do? It's like these signs are smacking me in the face. They're not even subtle anymore. I didn't know how to switch it off. I didn't want to switch it off because I wanted to help. And eventually I talked to the mum. And the minute I sat down with the mum of the girl who'd passed, the spirit came through and I felt the emotion and I felt the tingle. And then I could tell her, oh my goodness, she wants to say this to you. It's not me. I'm not special. I'm just the medium in the situation. So I'm just the, like we call the facilitator. Just like when we're doing Reiki, I'm not healing you. You're healing yourself. It's just, I can hear or see or feel. That is my truth. And I know this is happening to me more and more. And the more grounded I am, the more it's happening. And like I said, it's happened twice already this week where I've had messages for friends and family, and I know I can just kind of tap into it and do this, but I've still the confidence. We're not really brought up like this. I was a little tiny bit, but I was also told that I must be very careful, and there's a lot of fear-based stuff. And like I said to my mum yesterday, there's nothing for me to fear. There's nothing to be scared of, and I wouldn't have been given a gift to see spirit, to hear spirit, to feel spirit if I should be scared of it. And now I'm learning how I can click it on and click it off. What I want you guys to do is to acknowledge. You feel granddad around you, say, hi granddad, how are you? You know, they just want to come and say hello and tell you that they're okay. If you feel emotional and you feel tingly, they're there with you. You know, I've seen a spirit go up to my friend and like tap her, and like energetically I can see it. And she's stroking her daughter's head because she loves her and she misses her and she wants her to know she's nourished. And that's exactly how my friend felt when I told her I could see her mum. She said, I felt nourished at that very point. And we can all do it. But we do have the choice. We can click it off if we want to or if we don't want to. But I'm telling you now, if there is something that a spirit wants to tell you or get you to tell somebody, you'll know about it because they're going to go on and on and on until, and that's where the mind chatter comes in. So if you're waking up in the middle of the night and you're like, far out, I just can't turn off the mind chatter. You need to say, okay, guys, this is my sleep time. Can you please leave? So I was in my office the other day and I had two spirits come through and I had to literally talk to the people that they belong to. And then I said, okay, can you please leave? Thank you guys so much. I'm so grateful. But now I need to work on my computer. And I can't work on the computer with this room full of spirit. It's a little room, you know. So having a better knowledge and understanding, there's nothing to be scared of. Our loved ones just don't have a body anymore, and they're not here all the time unless we're really needing them. But it's really important to acknowledge them and to give yourself some credit. Like, I have an uncle at the moment constantly trying to talk to me, but I don't have the confidence and I'm not ready to kind of figure out what the message is, to be honest. I think I kind of know, but I'm really busy putting together this interview series. So yeah, I will be doing more of this, I think, if it's my chosen path. If it happens easily, I'm not going to push it. But if you guys want to know more about spirit and our loved ones that have passed, and how you can connect to them and a little bit more about that, hit me up, ask me. I'm sure I'm going to do some workshops in the future. But it's time we know that they haven't really left us. They have physically, but you can still have a relationship with your brother or your mother or your gran. And I quite often am known for making people cry because people realize, like one of my girlfriends, that her gran hasn't gone. She's still here saying, I love you, and giving her little presents. And that's beautiful, you know, and we're not so sad in life when we realize that we have our loved ones near us, and ask them to help you. They are so keen. I had this guy in here the other day and I'm talking to his sister and I said, oh my gosh, he's stamping his feet going, come on, man, give me some jobs. If you want a job, if you want some money, if you want people to be pulled to you for creativity or so you can create more in your life, wake up in the morning and say, hey, my team, my brother, my mother, my great-great-grandmother, whoever it is, help me out today. I'm feeling like shit. Or help me to create more. Bring me money. Like, I'm not even kidding. These guys are keen. They've got so many tools. They don't have a body. They can go everywhere. They can help you out phenomenally. And that's what I found. I would not be able to be where I'm at right now, mentally, physically, emotionally, without the help of spirit around me. So my great-grandmother and my granddad with me quite often. Obviously, they kind of go and come back and I call upon them. But my great-grandmother was really psychic. Like my mum, as a little girl, they'd hear a knock at the door. And I'd go to the door and there was no one there. And the neighbour had died. And my nana would see them in the garden or whatever. And it was just kind of like a normal thing. My friends used to get me to tell them ghost stories when we're going to sleep and stuff. And we never really paid much attention to it. But then I'm kind of realising that no one understands this type of stuff. So yeah, my relationship with my great-grandmother is stronger now than it was when she was alive because I can understand her and energy. And I ask her all the time, can you help me out today? Can you give me some confidence? Because am I crazy? When you start hearing things and seeing stuff, I don't hear, but I hear songs. Those songs generally belong to someone. And unless I find the person that they belong to and I start putting together the pieces of the puzzle, they keep coming. So if you think that you may be interested in mediumship, if you think that things happen to you all the time, like little signs, and you just think, go with your gut, because we are all intuitive. We all have gifts and we all have the ability to talk to our loved ones that have passed. It's so much more fun than thinking that they've died and there's nothing. Because if you really believed that, then you wouldn't be so intrigued when we're watching people like Calvin Cruikshank and Sue Nicholson. I know a lot of people think this is absolutely crap. My family members, I've heard them say Calvin Cruikshank is absolutely nonsense. But I know it's true because I had these experiences and I find it very hard sometimes to believe myself because you can't see it right in front of you. But I'm like, how did that was a miracle. How did that happen? But I know it's true because I can feel it. We quite often have a dream about a friend or we think about them and then they ring us or we see them. That is another way of showing the energy of the power of the mind. So we only know such a small amount of stuff, but when you tune into it and you meditate and you ask, if you say, okay, I would like to connect with some spirit or I'd like to, go further with this, then you'll be given the tools if you ask. I do protect myself. I do tap into the energy around me and make sure that it's only good and my house is constantly smudged. And I'm always looking at my behavior, my husband's behavior, my kids' behavior, because when the house is all manic and crazy, I'm like, okay, is there something more in here that is the energy is changing? So it's all just going with intuition, really. But yeah, can you hear? Can you see? Can you smell? What is it? And when you start asking those questions and actually thinking, who am I thinking of? When you think of them, they pop in or they're already there. And then you can have an actual conversation with them. Yep, sounds crazy, but it's true. So yeah, let me know how you guys are going and if you've had any really cool experiences lately, because I find it really interesting. I can sit there and do a reading and see friends' granddad sitting next to them, or one girl is always up in the air flying around. Maybe she's an angel, or maybe she just chooses to fly around, but it's really cool. Crazy as, but it is so much fun, and having the ability to know that they're okay and that there's more, and they really want to communicate with you. They're still the same person. They don't have that body. It's just the essence. And they're going to show you. If you lost a baby, then you might see your child in the baby form. You might see, I see my grandparents generally, I see my granddad like my age, which is really interesting. And I see my nana is old, like a nana figure. And that's how they're showing me. That's how my mind works with them. But when I see somebody else's, like when my friend's brother the other day came through, I could tell what he looked like. She sent me through a photo. I could sense their relationship. You can nearly smell the person. It's really interesting. A couple of minutes a day and to tap into this, meditate, balance your chakras, and you'll become super intuitive. Anyway, I am now procrastinating. So love you guys. I'll leave you and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.
And that's a wrap for today. Thank you so much for joining the Release Your Blocks podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, I would love to hear from you. So please leave a review and tell me what your favorite takeaway from today was. There is so much more from where this came from. You can also find me at Holistic Energy Shifting on Facebook, where you can find more content, more coaching, and more guidance. Have a grand and glorious day, and I'll see you next time.